Paging Jake Tapper. Hey, Jake, your friends at CNN, your colleagues forgot, what? Now I have to start again. Story number 2. Paging Jake Tapper. Hey, Jake, your colleagues at CNN have forgot there are satellite images of Iran. Jake Tapper is continuing the press tour that never ends, talking about his book, Original Sin. Of course, he works at CNN. And he is continuing to pretend that the media just, man, those clever Biden people, they just fooled everybody in the media. They didn't understand that Joe Biden was demented. Well, something happened this past week at CNN that shows once again how far away they are from being able to understand what we see. This reminds me of a guy who was he was an aerobics teacher in the separate country of Seattle when I lived there. And he was really a pretty heavy dude. And he would wear these insanely short shorts, and he taught spinning class. And one day, two parts of his body had rolled out of his shorts. And people were laughing, and everyone was afraid to tell him. And he's up there, go harder, pedal harder. And finally, someone said something, and he ran shrieking. He literally ran shrieking out of the building and never came back. Because people saw something he didn't know they saw. I'll show you what happened in CNN here in a second, because it goes right to them not understanding what we actually see. I actually see something very, very differently now after I had a conversation with Brian McKechnie, the founder and CEO of a company called Visible. Here's what I understand. I have made a decision to put my retirement account at risk, my wife and I's retirement at risk, our home at risk, any of the savings funds we have for our daughter's future, all of that at risk. I made that decision because I allowed my bank to pretend I had corporate credit. I didn't have corporate credit. That's personal credit tied to my Social Security number. Visible is helping me get this worked out. They'll do this for you in 7 easy steps. It's govisible.com. And I'm going to guarantee you something. They'll give you a free no obligation consultation. And I guarantee you're going to learn something about the difference between corporate credit and personal credit, including the fact that right now your business is unfundable if you're using personal credit, unless you mortgage your house for it. Here's the website. It's govisible.com. Take them up on the free no obligation consultation. And when this makes sense to you, then commit to the program. It's govisible.com. So CNN, they did not, they got the word about the Iran accepting the ceasefire. And Caitlin Collins, just prior to getting this word, she seemed rather skeptical about this ceasefire.
Now, we're hearing incredibly optimistic views coming out of the White House as far as how long this can hold and what this is going to look like. That obviously still remains to be seen on the implementation side of this, and waiting to see if the firing does stop and if Iran and Israel do both agree to this. Because, you know, speaking of the fluidity of the situation, it was just 24 hours ago that President Trump himself was suggesting a regime change in Iran was a possibility. And obviously right before that, having the United States strike Iran. And so, yes, there have been a lot of phone calls going back and forth. In part, this has to do with Iran's limited response earlier, where they fired on a U.S. base in Qatar, but there were no casualties. We know that they did give a heads up that they were going to be firing on U.S. bases without exactly specifying which ones. But that is the question here, is if the United States felt that it did not need to respond to the Iranian retaliation, did that create the space for this? That is what we've been hearing from administration officials. And so the question is whether or not this still holds for the next few hours.
Yeah, Caitlin, I just been given word that Iran, according to a diplomat who briefed CNN, Iran has agreed to the ceasefire. So this is significant. I just want to try to learn some more information as soon as we get it about that. But if that is the case, that's incredibly significant, because that is, we were waiting, we had not.
It's incredibly significant, and Caitlin Collins does a great job of holding the poker face. Oh, something rolled out of the spin class guy's short shorts. And what's rolled out of CNN is their entire reputation. Right? They continue to be the same organization. At least the anchor comes back and admits, we just got this. Then CNN came along and told us this about what happened in Iran.
This is CNN Breaking News. We have major breaking news into CNN. 3 sources tell CNN that according to an early U.S. intelligence assessment, the U.S. military strikes on 3 of Iran's nuclear facilities last weekend did not destroy the core components of the country's nuclear program and likely only set it back a few months.
That's right. So this is an assessment that actually is out from the Defense Intelligence Agency. That is the Pentagon's intelligence arm. And it was based on a battle damage assessment conducted by U.S. CENTCOM after the strikes, according to one of the sources.
So unnamed sources from the intelligence services within the military say that this didn't really happen. Stay home, stay safe. Safest, most secure. Hunter Biden laptop has all the signs of Russian propaganda. President Trump claimed without evidence. There's stuff rolling out of CNN. It's their motives. It's the fact that they truly cannot see that we can see everything on this. And did they forget there are satellite images? You can see what happens when 30,000 pounds of explosives is dropped on each one of those sites. The Israelis sent people in to look through the former sites to come back and say, yep, totally decimated, but not as decimated as the reputation of CNN. Do you think CNN can ever get it? Have you seen any improvement in CNN? What would you do if you ran CNN? What would you do to change the ship? What would you command it? Mine is I would make everybody who works for CNN leave New York and Washington, D.C. I would make them live in parts of the country where there is no big media. I would make them do that. You want to work here? You're going to go live in real America. What would you do? Let us know in the comment section.